Are these walls really necessary?
Who decides to make them?
I mean, we're all different one way or another, aren't we?
Can we not coexist even with our differences?
Jallianwala Bagh. One garden, thousands of visitors every single day.
The same exact place where thousands were killed back in April 1919.
So, here is where it took place.
So, what are your thoughts on the massacre of Jallianwala Bagh? Start with that.
The Jallianwala Bagh massacre was, I'll just give a brief of what exactly happened. We talk of the British rule that was happening, and a lot of injustice and some amazing laws were being introduced by them. And one such law that they recently introduced in April 1919 was that anyone could be apprehended by the Britishers. And on chalks, wherever there were these Union Jacks that were hoisted, if an Indian did not salute it, they could just be imprisoned by a British officer without issuing a warning. And then comes April in the year of 1919, and in the month of April in Punjab, there's this huge festival that is Baisakhi. It's the beginning and the ending of the festive crops. And that's where it was a festival, so there were hundreds of people, young, kids, oldies, women, all of them celebrating the Baisakhi at the center ground, which is right next to the Golden Temple, and that's the Jallianwala Bagh. And this news reached the man who was in charge of the security of Amritsar, and that was General Dyer. Now, General Dyer thought of giving the Indians a moral lesson. Moral lesson, and how? That's when he just had his huge tank, a huge battalion, and he marched toward the Jallianwala Bagh. And if anyone has been to Jallianwala Bagh, it has a narrow entrance. General Dyer had no idea about it. He was on his tank. And as soon as he reached the Jallianwala Bagh entrance, he realized that it's a very narrow gate to go in. So the tank could not go in. So he gets down, he walks in, and he orders his fellow officers to walk in. They go in, and all that they see is a huge crowd of people celebrating, delicacies being exchanged, and they're just enjoying the festival of Baisakhi. Everyone just saw the officers along with General Dyer, and they had no idea what is happening. And all that General Dyer did is hold the entire march. His entire police squadron was made to stand facing the innocent population over there. Some of them were discussing about the unjust laws, but majority of them were there to celebrate the Baisakhi festival. And without issuing a warning, General Dyer shouts, "Fire!" And the British soldiers, who were Indians as well, they start firing at the innocent crowd, and the firing lasted for around 45 minutes, resulting in massive massacre of innocent people. And as far as Jallianwala Bagh was concerned, the walls were very big, as a result of which people could not escape. There was just one entrance and one exit, which was already blocked by General Dyer and his officers. And as far as the women were concerned, see, it was a given that General Dyer and all the British officers never told their subordinates to shoot the women, because they wanted to capture the women and sexually assault them. As a result of which, right in the Jallianwala Bagh was a well, and women knew that if they were caught alive, they would be sexually assaulted by the British officers. So, in spite of getting caught, they chose to give up their life by jumping in the well, knowing that they can never come out, but they wanted to just give up their life rather than getting caught. And some men who tried to escape from the long walls, but obviously they were not Spider-Man, so they could not jump up that high. And General Dyer ordered his officers to turn to the right where the wall was, where hundreds of people were trying to jump out, and shoot at them. The firing lasted for around 45 minutes, and according to historians and some sources of newspapers, no doctors and medical vans were allowed to enter Amritsar for the next 2 days. So those who were dead, and those who were injured and those who were bleeding were there bleeding to death, because as orders of General Dyer, no medical officers were allowed to enter in that area. So as far as its backlash was concerned, we talk of this, the great writer and the great poet of India, Dr. Sir Rabindranath Tagore. He was conferred the title of Sir by the British government. But in response to this, he surrendered his title of Sir, saying that if it's a government who considers my fellow citizens as dogs and kills them as insect, I don't want any kind of an honor from the Britishers. So in response to the Jallianwala Bagh massacre, Rabindranath Tagore gave back his title of knighthood. The Jallianwala Bagh massacre was also important for inspiring plenty of Indians, and one such person who we consider as the youth icon of India was Bhagat Singh. It is believed Bhagat Singh was just 13-14 years old when this event took place, and he went to the Jallianwala Bagh. He saw bloodstains everywhere, and that is what motivated and inspired him to take up arms and fight against the Britishers.
So, how exactly did you feel about the current history unit we have?
The current history unit we have is based on interacting with other people. It's about learning perspective of different people. It's basically not a typical class unit, I would say, because we are actually able to research on our own, present to the class, and we have been doing that, and also interacting with people outside of our school, experts on the case studies that we are performing.
Talking about the current unit, how do you feel that the India-Pakistan partition was actually necessary in the way it happened?
There are some perspectives on this, but in my opinion, it was completely unnecessary because it was just the greed of power, which I personally am not fond of. I don't like people who you think power above the basic humanitarian needs. And that was the main reason of the partition, in my opinion, because it was Jawaharlal Nehru, he wanted power, so did Jinnah. So due to that, in my opinion, due to that, the partition happened, and I just don't like this greed of power.
The partition, it was not necessary at all. It was the ये ज़रूरी था उनके लिए, क्या कहते हैं, M.A. Jinnah, who wants to be the Prime Minister of the India. So Gandhi denied that, and instead of that, he requested for the Pakistan, for the Muslims. And that's it. And right now, Pakistan and Indian relations are cordial. They are friendly, but not on LOC. That is a working boundary. And that's it.
So, in the late 1930s in India, we've got these two dashing personalities just rising to power rapidly. We've got Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru on one hand, loved by everyone, and we've got M.A. Jinnah on the other. Jinnah, however, realized that when India would gain independence, Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru would become the Prime Minister, and this broke his heart. It crushed him from inside. And come in early 1940s, Jawaharlal Nehru is about to become the Prime Minister of an undivided India. And Jinnah, hated this. In the late 1940s, he proposed that he wants a nation of his own or we should prepare for a civil war. One side for Jinnah, one side for Nehru, Pakistan and India. And that, my friends, is how the partition actually took place. What was once a united beauty of a country has now become three divided siblings who just hate each other for everything. The landscapes shown before you right now, landscapes of sheer poverty and even terror, could have been the city of gold we all dreamt of if it weren't for this hunger of power. Standing divided, what good is power? Power over what? What will power get you if there is nothing left to get? No, these walls are by no means necessary. But there's not much an individual can do to take them down. Living with our differences, on the other hand, is something we can all work towards.